Hello everyone, welcome once again. We are in improve phase. We have done a lot of work so far, right from define till measure, analyze, improve and control. We have built the solutions for the problems that we identified in the define phase. We detailed out the problem in the measure phase with the help of a lot of methods that we looked at, and in the analyze phase we found the root causes of why do we have problems in the process. And in the improve phase where we are right now, we built these solutions. We built these solutions using methods like brainstorming, standardization, mistake proofing 5S, and Edward de Bono's 6 thinking hats. But we did not stop right after designing solutions. We tried to assess the risk in those solutions. We prioritized our solutions, and we did not even stop there. We piloted the solutions to understand whether the solution is worth doing or not, whether are there any issues that we can face while we are looking at this particular solution. Will it work in real world or not? What kind of issues we might face in the real world. Let's try to incorporate them now. Let's try to change it now. And if it is still not working, we can go back to the analyze phase, and then we can again start from the scratch. So we always are ready for it. So but we have covered a long journey. We have come a long way as of now. If I talk about so this is the time when we actually implement the solutions, the time for which we have been ready for long, where we have really worked very hard. In a typical project, a typical Six Sigma project ranges from 2 to 4 months, a small Six Sigma project, and the big projects might range beyond a year also. And this is the time of that project where team is very, very excited. We are going to implement solutions. We discuss with stakeholders, we seek their approval. Teams start training others, start implementing solutions. That's the day they have been waiting for, the solutions that they want to implement. So let's look at and try to understand what does it mean when I say implement the solutions. If you see my screen, implementing a solution includes changing people's behavior. It is not about changing a part of a process or changing some technology. It is the way people work, behave, the mindset, the problem solving attitude and approach. That's what we are trying to change here. So we are changing people's behavior. We are changing the process, of course. We are changing the measurement system, the way we measure data, gather data, collect data, and the way we provide value to a customer. We are changing that approach. The way customer perceive value, we can't change it, but the way we provide value to a customer, we are changing that entire thing. In the major phase, we talked about value added, non-value analysis. Whatever we found as non-value added, we removed it, eliminated it. So now you see, the way we provide value to a customer in a process, if the process had 10 steps earlier, maybe we would have reduced it to 3 steps or 2 steps, or maybe the entire process automated. So the way we are providing value to a customer, we are changing all of that. In the next slide that you can see here, when you implement solutions, what should you understand or what should you keep in your mind while you implement it? Implementation planning, if you look at, we need to have a project plan. Project plan will talk about what are the solutions, what will be the timeline of those solutions, like when will we start the solutions and when will we end the solutions, and who will own those solutions, the person who will implement it, and what will be the role of each person, what kind of dependencies that we have, what kind of risk that we may incur. So we have done all of it, but we need to be ready with all this information into a project plan. So we put all this information. We prepare a RACI diagram while we implement a solution as to different people may be required for different set of things in the implementation of deployment of a solution. We then definitely we need a change management and communication plan. Whenever a solution is implemented, it definitely changes the people's behavior and it's changing a lot of things in the company. So do we have a change management plan? What kind of change people can go through? Do we have a training plan ready for that? And do we have a communication plan ready also or not? So, because change needs to be communicated, with change which is coming through a new solution, it needs to be communicated at different level to different audience, through different medium and at different intervals. So all this needs to be planned and someone needs to own this entire communication. So there is so the change communication team needs to be ready with their ways of working. And what could be few success factors for implementation of the solution. First of all, it should be on time and it should meet the budget. You do not want to implement a solution that actually exceeds the entire budget that you have kept apart, so kept inside. So that can be a big differentiator. And no surprises. Remember in the stakeholder analysis that we did in defined phase, if you have engaged with all the stakeholders properly, none of the stakeholders should come back to you and then say, oh, I wasn't aware of what you were doing. If you have not kept them engaged or informed or updated, they can create those problems. So we need to be wary of those tough stakeholders who might create an issue in the process. So no surprises from them, and we need to engage all relevant staff. It's not just the stakeholder needs to be kept informed, engaged. There are various people in the organization. They may not be your direct stakeholder, but when you are communicating the change in the system or in the process, we need to tell all of them in some other way. Maybe we send an email or a newsletter. Sometimes we organize a town hall in which we call the employees and we tell what is changing in the company now, what is the new process all about. Now, they were not a stakeholder who, they may not have a say in your solution, but definitely they are the one who gets impacted. So they needs to be taken care. So that's why sensitivity is very important. The way we bring change, the way we communicate it, the way we take care of it, the way we take care of employees' behavior, their needs is very important while we implement a solution. And at the end, the roles, responsibility and procedure which goes through a lot of change, it needs to be documented and taken care at the part of this overall process. Now if you look at this slide here we are talking about what are the key elements of an implementation plan. So it talks about the potential problem analysis. Now we would have done so many things. We prepared an FMEA, we did a pilot, but still, while we implement a solution, we must always know what could potentially go wrong in this solution that we're implementing. So the problem analysis needs to be done beforehand, and also it becomes part of your plan. Then we work procedure and standards. That's natural. When you implement a new system, a new process, you prepare a lot of documentation. How will the new job look like? How will people do the job? What kind of work procedure they require? What kind of standards, calibration methods, or what kind of target level they might require? Training plan, definitely people need to be trained on that new solution that we have just put together. What kind of training they will require? Will it be ongoing training, or will it be on different intervals? Will it be a one-time training? Who will train it? Do you have a training material ready? Do you have a training plan ready? Do you have you identified the audience that needs to be trained? Then talk about communication plan. Obviously the frequency of communication, the type of communication, the mode of communication, the communicator itself. So all this has to be planned again, and who will do the communication. Then revise budget and benefits case. So now once we have implemented solution, it definitely might need that we may need some extra money to implement entire solution. Budget might exceed, and what is the benefit of doing that solution, of implementing a new change or implementing a new process that needs to be put together, so people can see that if you are bringing a new system, if you are bringing a new process, what is the benefit to the organization. That again needs to be put together. Detailed implementation work plan, that is the entire project plan. So everything that we just talked about, which we can put together into a document, that you can call it as an implementation work plan. And then process control system, last not the least but the most important. Process control system will tell us, however a process or a solution is implemented, but how will you monitor it? How will you monitor to understand whether your solution is working or not over a period of time? And you need to also understand the progress that needs to be tracked for that process. You need to build dashboards, you need to build KPIs for your new solution, you need to build performance parameters for your new solutions, and that needs to be tracked as part of this entire thing, and we call it process control system. Monitoring plan of a process needs to be put together and planned. In this slide, in the next slide, that you can see some of the things that we typically prepare for a process implementation plan is, we have task and timeline that works as a project plan. Budget and resources we put together. Stakeholders that we talk about, the analysis needs to be, how to check, so plan, actuals. These are some of those elements. In the previous slide you saw them in bullet points. Here we're talking as a visualization of the same, and then the potential problem that can come into entire project plan. In the next slide, you can see an example of a project plan, how it looks like. So you see here we're talking about the key activities of a solution, the key activities of a new process. We're talking about when will it start, when will it end, who will do it, what is the duration. So this is a Gantt chart that is used to implement a process, a new process or a new solution. So this is called a project plan. And if something goes wrong while you work on a new process or new solution implementation, that's okay. We can always correct it. I mean, despite whatever you do, if something goes wrong, it just goes wrong. Not everything will be in our control, but we must have a contingency plan with us. It should be ready. That's the most important. At the end of it, if you look at my current slide, it talks about what is called a successful project, or what is called a successful implementation, which has clearly defined goals and objectives. If it has met, if there is a right leadership support, and there is effective teamwork, and project plan agrees to by all participants, every stakeholder agrees at the end that this is what we are looking for, right solutions, very good job, and you have timely evaluation you have done, and proactive control systems have been designed, that's when we can say a great implementation of solutions has happened. So these are the key elements of project of all the solutions implementation. So at the end of improve phase, solution design and implemented, and everyone is happy, but that is not the end of your project. We'll talk in the but then it again needs to be evaluated, it needs to be reviewed. So we have a sponsor again and a black belt or a mentor again. They will review all the things that you have done as part of the improve phase. So you go for a toll gate review once again, the way you went in define, measure and analyze. So in the next session we'll talk about the toll gate review for the improve phase here. Thank you for watching. This is Shivendra Sharma.